If you want to get to know a character, learn about their interests, goals, or desires, their butt is probably not going to give you that information. It won't tell you much about who they are or what they're thinking or feeling at any given time. If some of this footage looks jerky, that's because in some games, trying to get a glimpse of male characters' butts can feel a bit like wrestling with the camera.
You know, Anita Sarkeesian's latest offering on the tropes versus women had me in stitches, because $500,000 of feminist research to work out that it's harder to see a man's ass when he's wearing a cape.
For the purposes of this video, I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end, but it's as if his cape is a high-tech piece of Wayne Industries equipment designed to cover up his butt at all costs.
All was well, another day saved, when his cape snagged on a missile pin.
Thunderhead was not the brightest bulb.
Stratogale, April 23rd, 57. Cape caught in a jet turbine.
You can't generalize.
Designed to cover up his butt at all costs.
Melta Man, express elevator. Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No kicks.
Hey, guess what, Anita? It's easier to see a man's ass when he is not wearing a cape. Hell, in reality, most men don't wear strategic butt coverings, while many women do. They're called dresses. And there are even better strategic butt coverings out there called burqas. Now, I'll get to why Anita's goal here is to booty shame beautiful girls. How do you feminists say? Slut shame beautiful girls. I'll get round to that another day. Because it sure as hell ain't the pretty girls or the men who are complaining that hot women are hot. Seems to me it's just the feminists.
So we go into parties and we know where we are in the pretty girl pecking order, and when another woman is valued for being a sex object, it actually makes us feel bad about ourselves.
This is the essence of what sexual objectification means.
This is some bullshit. Everyone should be pissed that this is so normal.
You know, beautiful women like Catwoman here. And of course, Anita is offended that Catwoman moves like a cat.
In Batman Arkham City, for instance, the player's gaze is drawn to Catwoman's behind, which is emphasized by her costume and exaggerated hip sway.
Hey, genius! Let me let you on a secret that you're not going to learn in your pop culture critics school with your gender studies degree. Catwoman moves like a cat for the same reason that Spider-Man moves like a spider. Yeah, slinky women are sexy, but that doesn't mean that they should be booty shamed into burqas.
Rather, the solution is to de-emphasize the rear ends of female characters, so that players are encouraged not to ogle and objectify these women.
The really amazing thing about her latest video, though, is Anita clearly spent a lot of time gazing at Batman's butt.
For the purposes of this video, I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end, but it's as if his cape is a high-tech piece of Wayne Industries equipment designed to cover up his butt at all costs.
Yeah, she spent a lot of time gazing at Batman's crotch without his consent.
I get raped every day, several times, by thoughts, by words, by looks.
Turning him into a sexual object. And hey, didn't Anita tell us that if you can do something in a game, then you're being encouraged to do it, and that'll make you do it in real life. And once people start doing this in real life, dehumanizing people as sex objects, then it would be okay to kill them. Oh, Anita, today is the day that all that stupidity that you've spouted on the internet comes back to haunt you.
In order to understand how this works, let's take a moment to examine how video game systems operate as playgrounds for player engagement. Games ask us to play with them. Now, that may seem obvious, but bear with me. Game developers set up a series of rules, and then within those rules, we're invited to test the mechanics to see what we can do and what we can't do. If some of this footage looks jerky, that's because in some games, trying to get a glimpse of male characters' butts can feel a bit like wrestling with the camera.
Camera lingers on bat crotch, bat butt.
I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end, but it's as if his cape is a high-tech piece of Wayne Industries equipment designed to cover up his butt at all costs. I should note that this kind of misogynistic behavior isn't always mandatory. Often it's player-directed, but it is always implicitly encouraged. This emphasis on the butts of male characters communicates to players that this is what's important. This is what you should be paying attention to. It communicates that the character is a sexual object designed for players to look at and enjoy. In other words, Games move the viewer from the position of spectator to that of the participant in the media experience. On a very basic level, we can think of non-interactive media as engaging audiences in forms of passive looking, while video games provide players the chance to partake in forms of active looking or active observing. And by explicitly encouraging you to ogle and objectify the character, the game is implicitly discouraging you from identifying directly with him. We are encouraged to experiment with how the system will react or respond to our inputs, and discover which of our actions are permitted
Camera lingers on Bat Crotch.
and which are not. The play comes from figuring out the boundaries and possibilities within the game space. These active viewing mechanics encourage players to collaborate with developers in sexual objectification by enabling gamers to scope out and spy on non-playable sex objects. Once a person is reduced to the status of objecthood, violence against that object becomes intrinsically permitted. These achievements are directly rewarding players for in-game behavior that amounts to sexual harassment. Players are actively being encouraged to think of men's bodies as something they are entitled to interact with. They are directly reinforcing negative ways of thinking about the dynamics between men and women in our society. There are a few examples of male protagonists who are wearing clothing that calls attention to their butts.
All you need to do is... Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. 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 Nothing at all.
There are a few examples of male protagonists who are wearing clothing that calls attention to their butt.
Nothing at all. 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 Nothing at all.
I like to jokingly refer to this aspect of a male character's costume as the strategic butt covering.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.